This is Talking Tottenham, a fantasyfocus.com production.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 146 of Talking Tottenham. Danny Shakes, it is fast approaching prime Tangy season here in Florida, and I'm reaping all the benefits. We got 2 wins on the bounce. Fulham 1-0. Got a nice 4-1 over Crystal Palace here yesterday. Things are juicy and they're crunchy, and we're talking about none other than Mr. Jose Mourinho headed the boys to the promised land. Danny Shakes, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Bucks. That's a hard J for you. Is he hard J Mourinho right now?
I'm fully hard for Jay.
Tangy season is upon us. 9 points, Tangy.
Feeling pretty damn good. Just the team has found something, and you see how happy these players are. But really, I want to credit something from this fine earth that God provided us with. Tangerines, I think, are the main difference. Now, we can go ahead. We can praise Jose. We can praise the players. Let's talk about a mindset shift for the boys here at Talking Tottenham. Ever since we got in the Citrus game, things have been going our way, and I like to think that plays a role into it. I mean, sure, having some consistency with the back 2 pairing at the center has had a little bit to do with this good established run that we've been on.
Getting our starting left back.
Getting him back. Well, we will
big.
get into Reggie because, damn, what a performance. First half defensively, second half on the attack. Just phenomenal there against Palace. But I guess we start here. We're talking all this Tangerine stuff. Huge shout out to Jerry McNeil, one of our great listeners, follower on Twitter, with just another absolute banger of a Photoshop, or really it's a piece of art. I shouldn't even call it a Photoshop. I feel like I'm discrediting the thing. It's a piece of art that deserves to be hung in some of the most established art houses throughout the world, not even the United States, not even England, anywhere. You know, Paris, there's probably a couple of good places there.
The Louvre?
You know? Well, the Louvre, I figured we don't want to like just shoot for the moon right off the jump here for Jerry.
There's so much art in there.
It's good enough.
Have you ever been to the Louvre, Bucks?
I have not been to the Louvre. Never been to Paris.
Oh, you're missing out, man. Paris is pretty sweet. But the Louvre is just monstrous. So you could probably tuck it away down one of the hallways on like the 3rd floor. No one would notice. I mean, it deserves more than that. It's just what I'm saying is there's plenty of room for art in there.
Jerry, just a fantastic job. You did the Talking Tottenham ham steak at the beginning of quarantine where all I was eating was sodium by the truckload. Sodium intake. And just wanted to say we really appreciate that, Jerry. I mean, I opened that up this morning and I had a consistent belly laugh for a good 15, 20 seconds as I had to mute myself on a conference call, just dying laughing. Fantastic job. Danny Shakes, middle finger up with the beer and the sack of tangerines. I mean, what a job.
If only we were able to switch out the Bud Light with a Bang Energy. Just not that I'm nitpicking. It was fantastic. And Bucks, you know, Citrus was staring us in the face. We both live in Florida. It just seemed like it was there all along, similar to maybe we should just start Gareth Bale. It was there all along. Play him on the right side.
Some might say that we slow played it, though, because the last few years of harvest of the citrus crop here in Florida, we've been impacted by severe drought from time to time. 2019 stands out to me. Terrible year for the citrus industry. 2020 back on the bump, getting mended, kind of like Gareth Bale. And then we get here into 2021, and all of a sudden, the citrus is back to top levels. It's 2013 again for Gareth Bale. Spurs are riding a high that we haven't seen the likes of since what? November? Honestly. It's all good vibes around here. But let's start with that Fulham match. I thought it was interesting. We did shift the lineup quite a bit. We had a Dele appearance in there, and Dele actually scored that goal. But I think he scored the goal. They took the goal from him, Shakes. I know you have some harsh words for the refereeing, or I guess just the general scorekeeper on that one.
Yeah, what are they doing? That I thought was harsh. I mean, do you know for sure, just from the trajectory of the ball, the way it was angled off of Dele, that it was going to miss the net? I don't think you can, Bucks. So I thought it was a pretty harsh own goal. And, I mean, hopefully we all just kind of remember like that was a goal contributed by Delhi, and
We
it's
all
not
will.
like later on in the score sheet you're just like, man, Delhi didn't even get a goal like in the EPL play. But it's a game where I thought Spurs got a lot of slack in the media and Twitter world, and they just scraped out a win. So I get it. If that game is 1-1 and that VAR goal actually doesn't get overturned for Fulham in the second half, which my thoughts are that's absolutely a handball. Like you can't just, I get it, it's pasted to your body. However, if it hits off your stomach, the ball probably bounces a different way than if it hits off your arm that's next to your stomach. So it immediately set up the goal. And I guess just the way I look at it is you just have to call it that way. If it was something where it was like 3 kicks later and then it found its way somewhere else, then it's tough to relitigate that. But I just think letter of the law, that's just what it is. So Spurs have been screwed on that part before on letter of the law stuff. So if that's something that needs to be changed, it just needs to be changed, either through a competition committee midseason or when next season starts. So even though Spurs got a lot of shit, 3 points is 3 points. It was on the road against Fulham. And then look what Fulham did this weekend. They went over to Liverpool and beat them. So they're not as bad as people think.
I don't even think they've been that bad over the last couple of months.
They're going to crawl themselves out of the cellar. I mean, now it's going to be what? Newcastle?
Could be Newcastle. They look to be on a slide.
Yeah, Newcastle's been playing shitty. I mean, I'd look out if I was Brighton and Hove. It seems like Brighton plays everybody tough and then just doesn't win. Like just something goes wrong and then they lose the game 2-1 or something. And then your boys at Burnley, they still got to look over their shoulder, I think. The Southampton tank job would be crazy. If Southampton, they're up looks like 33 to 26 points. So they got 7 points as their gap now. But if that actually came to fruition where they started out like near top of the table and then ended up relegated, that'd be pretty insane.
I mean, how serious is that Danny Ings injury? I think that's the main question.
I didn't read up on it, so I don't know. But I mean, they were playing well without Ings at the beginning of the season. I don't know. I guess maybe they just can't just
at least 4 weeks. At least 4 weeks. He's out at least 4 weeks. So that sounds almost to me like this could be something that lingers on towards May.
Yeah, no, that's rough for them. So we'll have to monitor that, especially with the odds too, since that's something that we should always look at. You got to pick those advantages, Bucks. Bucks, with this Fulham match, do you go under the narrative of Spurs, eke out the 3 points and it was good resolve, good team play, and they just got the 3 points on the road in a tough environment? Or is it Spurs were sloppy and they were lucky to get 3 points?
It's funny that you say sloppy. Sloppy wouldn't be the term I would use.
They weren't clinical. There was nothing.
There wasn't
quality.
urgency.
You thought urgency was not there as opposed to quality? Like what I kept reading was lack of quality by Spurs. Spurs lucky to get 3 points. But
yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a different dimension with Delhi out there that we haven't really found how we play well with Delhi in the current makeup.
And also, I think Ndombele got a well-deserved rest. He just also was kind of running a little ragged, I thought, the last couple of weeks, just playing full 90s. Not like, not used to that. When you get him full tilt, he's awesome. But, even in that match, he was kind of subbed out. So, like you said, to play Delhi in there, you also still had Davis in there, not Reggie. You had Doherty on the right side. Team was kind of compromised from a lineup perspective. With all due respect to Delhi, I just think, and we'll talk about this in the next game, and you saw it against Crystal Palace, I just think Lucas is just such a pest and just pairs the best with Sonny, Bale, and Kane up top for the way that he plays. That just looks more fluid. So I just think Spurs went in with a lineup that wasn't their best and then took 3 points because they were just a well-organized team that did what they had to do to win. I'm going by that narrative. I know they weren't like world beaters, but they could have had a couple of goals in the first half in addition to the own goal that Delhi created in the 20th minute. But I just don't think it was that bad. And if you thought it wasn't a good fluid performance by Spurs, you probably weren't expecting then a 4-1 ass kicking at against Crystal Palace.
No, first off, I don't care how Spurs get it done.
Exactly.
The bottom line
3 points is 3 points. Tangerines are tangerines, Bucks.
Tangerines are tangerines.
I mean, I don't know. There are the little something special ones.
Clementines.
There's clementines, but then there's also like one
Tangelo.
that we give them to my son, and they're like super expensive. I don't even know where my wife finds these. Yeah, they might be those.
Yeah, for like 7 halos, which are about a golf ball size. It's like
Yeah.
$6.
She's like, "Oh, they're organic and all natural," and I'm like,
Oh,
"What the hell?"
you got the Halo Golds.
Okay, yeah, that sounds
Got
about
the
right.
Halo Golds. Yeah.
Probably
What
rose
a
gold,
farce
knowing her.
that is. Big Citrus pulling the wool over our
Yeah,
eyes. That is exactly what they're doing.
saw the Shakes family coming.
They rolled out the gold packaging faster than you can imagine. Slapped a bunch of organic stickers all over it.
No
Boom.
GMOs. Yeah,
Sold.
no trans fats,
You
even though
can't
that
have
would make
flare-ups,
sense at all.
Shakes. Your
What?
family cannot have flare-ups. You got to stay consistently healthy. Thing that I really liked about that match was, though, we were able to rotate both of the fullbacks there. So we got Davis in there and we got Doherty. What it really exposed to me was what you've been getting at, Shakes. This is a tip your cap moment from me to you. You're absolutely right. This team lives and dies by having a good fullback pairing. And you just see the difference. And that's the urgency factor that I thought we were lacking. It starts with number 3.
Oh boy.
Reguilon is a complete difference maker on the pitch. We'll get into Crystal Palace. I will preface this. He was my man of the match for Crystal Palace.
Was he really?
Undoubtedly.
He was my number 3. Well, we'll talk about that because everyone's 1 and 2 should be, Harith Kale.
No, dude. Nope.
No?
The unsung legend.
Unsung legend? Can he be my number 1 in the Fulham match because he wasn't there and you saw how obvious it was? Like, we just keep doing it like that?
Okay. If he doesn't play, he's automatically number 1 when we don't blow.
By the way, like his number 3, 3 points. It's all symbiotic, Bucks. It all makes sense.
Symbiotic. Yeah, it is.
It just adds this. Look, he's very good, but I mean, it's probably more of an indictment on, unfortunately, like the Doherty Davis play. When Serge is playing well, I mean, I guess I find myself liking Serge. I mean, maybe it took Doherty in my life in order to really appreciate Serge. And Doherty, even then, I thought actually played a pretty good game by his standards against Crystal Palace. I'm not sure he's still delivering on the fronts that maybe the team expected, but it's just when you can help, especially if Spurs are going to start playing this 4-2-3-1, where you're taking out a Sissoko and you're adding a Dele, you're adding a Lucas or adding a GLC, whoever it is, that's just not straight up a midfielder and probably more a defensive minded midfielder. I mean, you just need to have these guys pinching up further to create those threats on the flanks. And I just think Reggie just does that more than anyone on the team. And it's not close. It's like not close at all. Like however you want to rate our fullback positioning.
Well, they also open up the opportunity for the 2 center backs to play that back and forth a little bit higher up the pitch.
Yeah, and playing Reggie allows you to play Dave, kind of, is what I was coming to terms with. Now it's like I can play my center backs a little bit more forward.
Jerry with all-time color commentary. Harith Kale is the most hideous creature, but a damn amazing mythical football creature. He's more than a creature, Jerry. It's an ever-present being.
He's omnipresent. He's omnipresent. Yeah. Okay.
Omnipresent. It's so terrifying, Jerry. Jerry, when you threw the son of Harith Kale as the son in the Victory Tangerines Photoshop, there's nothing better than that. I shouldn't call photo. It's art, Jerry. It's goddamn art. High level, high brow. Sells for at least $3,000.
It should be at Millennium Park in downtown Chicago right now.
We got to figure this out.
Next to that big jelly bean.
Jerry, we got to figure out how to get that art everywhere. Because aside from my fat gut, it's a perfect picture.
I mean, there's way crazier art too. So to me, this is art.
What do you mean?
Like, there's people that draw like paintings of like tomato cans and shit. Like this is far more inspiring.
Andy Warhol,
like past presidents, yeah.
Banana peels.
I don't know.
We got some high level art. It goes to show you that we got folks that understand us and we understand them. We just love having a good time. Yeah, we did need the bang energy in there.
Yeah,
could have had the radical skedaddle or the rainbow unicorn, which I did.
Cotton Candy Rush. Yeah,
Cotton Candy Mountain. I just think it's look, let's stop with the Fulham. It was great to see Dele at least contribute to that goal. Hopefully that can get him back in the swing. But we toughed it out. We toughed out a road match. They had the crazy construction going on right along the touch line, which then altered the camera angles. So that was a frustrating watch as well. There were a lot of things I didn't love about the setup. Fulham always plays us tough. They've played everybody tough so far. And we both called it on the previous pod. That was the match we were more concerned with the Crystal Palace and the Fulham matches. Fulham, for me, looking at them, I love their structure. I think Scott Parker has them going in a very positive direction. They have a lot of guys that are in on loan, so I don't think it's like they're building for the future as much. They're trying to make sure that they stay up this season, and I think they're kind of poised to do it. You take down Liverpool, decimated Liverpool, but that's beside the point. Well, you take them down in that manner, Shakes. That's impressive. And you go up 1-0, you lose 1-0 to Spurs, and you had a shot. And it got, VAR'd, and by the rule of the law, which has cost one man, the hog, Musa Sissoko, the hog that was promised, cost us a UCL champion.
And Spurs against Newcastle.
Spurs against it's happened. So,
hey, we got one that went our way. That's what you look at Fulham, by the way, Bucks. Like, you were texting me, like, you like Lookman. I was like, dude, Josh Modge, remember him from Sunderland Till I Die? Yeah. Like, he's pretty good. I would take Harrison Reed, like, in a rotation of center midfield play. I mean,
too.
They got some players out there.
Their center back is real good. We'll get into him in a little bit with a listener question, by the way.
Okay.
We'll get into him. But transitioning now into Crystal Palace. For me, it was Reggie. Everything was Reggie. Let's talk first half.
Can we talk setup first? Can we talk setup?
Yeah, you break down the setup for us, Shakes.
Same back two in the center back, Toby and Dave. I think that's Jose's choice pairing.
Yeah.
Okay. Doherty on the right. Not sure if that's because we're just out on Tanganga. Just seems like Serge is still hurt. Your boy Reggie, number 3, the Tangy on the left side. Højbjerg and Winks. Winks gets the start over Ndombele. I think Ndombele just needed a rest, playing all these full 90s. And then you had Son, Kane, Bale, and then Lucas as opposed to Dele. The flow did stay on the left side. I always thought it was Reggie taking the ball forward on the left. However, Bale was also very good at crossing all the way across the pitch. I don't know if that's something that they've worked on just over time, because it's like he wasn't doing that in November, December when he was healthy for a little bit of a stint before he got hurt again, Bucks. But I know you want to take this back to your boy Reggie. I did not mean to hijack this.
You didn't hijack it at all. Just watching that first half, if you're a casual observer, in my opinion, there was just one player that stood out on the screen the entire time, both attacking and defending. It was Sergio Reguilon. The guy just went berserker mode. He was sliding into every tackle, even those that were like very inconspicuous situations where we had men back. There was no real need for it, but he just continued to dive bomb and cause them frustration, get in their heads. He was the itch on your ass that you couldn't scratch if you were Crystal Palace, right? It just kept itching. And you thought you could apply some jock powder to it, thought you could feel okay. You never got to that point. It's like you were wearing 6-day-old underwears and you couldn't get away from it. You're stranded on an island, Shakes. You got nothing there except a little bit of belief and maybe season 1 of Sex and the City with a portable DVD player, and your ass is itching the entire time. That's what Sergio was out there doing. He was itching that ass, Shakes. He was all up in that ass, baby.
His energy level is insane. I don't want to make it seem like I'm picking on Doherty because I thought he had a good game this game. But it's compare the energy of Doherty gets the ball, kind of takes up a little bit, stops, looks around, versus just Reggie that's just darting every which way. If he's not moving fast, he might as well just be dead, is the way he thinks, I think, is how life works for him. If he's shooting up the left side and there's nowhere to go there, he'll just cut it across the middle. If he sprints all the way up top and then the ball looks like maybe it's going the other way, he's sprinting all the way back. I don't know how he plays full 90s that way, Bucks. And maybe that's how maybe he does need to like tap the brakes a little bit. Maybe that's how he got kind of hurt, whether he goes that way in practice or, in the games all the time. But he just seems to bring this level of energy where whether he has the ball or is running around the ball or making a run past the ball, it just looks different. Like I just feel like if you just watched Davis play on the left side, again, a very serviceable, good player, but not the skill level of Reggie or not the energy of Reggie. It's just night and day how much different that looks on the left side for Spurs.
It's not just effort, though. It's not just hustle. It's all around skill. The guy he reeks class. Every single bit about him. Nice watch, Shakes. We saw that.
I didn't do that on purpose.
Kind of did.
White-faced Tissot, 1853. It's a working man's watch, Buck. It's not like an expensive watch.
Yeah.
Automatic.
You got me off kilter now. I need to recenter. It's just the class that the guy has, man, and he's such a threat on the wing. And not just that, he'll take it through an inside channel as well. He'll do things that we just haven't seen as far as a confidence level in a left back. Even prime Danny Rose, we're seeing a different animal in terms of the attack here. This is a guy that makes all the difference in the world. And the hustle comes in, Shakes, when you're providing that effort and that skill, the class when you're attacking, and you're the first guy back, or you're making sure you put everything into making sure they can't build something on a counter because you did take it all the way to the end line. And that's really what it boils down to for me is we just have a guy that has a lot of heart, a lot of class, and the energy, at least the energy levels, let alone like a different canister of backup energy levels to continue doing that. It's not something that I would say he needs to watch out for in terms of getting injured. Still a young player, not somebody that's had major problems. We were all happy as hell to see him come back, but it's night and day. And I think he is the difference, the complete, and not, we're failing to mention the most impressive part of his game, his cross game. We haven't had a player that can cross like that in some time, man. Everything seems pointed. And he doesn't send a lazy ball in the box. He sends balls that are directed towards other players wearing white that want to get that ball in the back of the net. And even when he doesn't find his man, he's finding a chance to cause chaos in that box instead of a simple clearance. It really is. I can't say enough about the guy, and that's why I have him as my man of the match for Crystal Palace. He was just all over the place, and I just love that bastard.
This just felt like a game where he just put his stamp on it, like he was fully back, right? He's playing 90 minutes. He's just darting back and forth. See, I was going to say, Bucks, he does remind me of Danny Rose. Like, I might be screwing up the years, but I want to say like 15, 16, 17 Danny Rose, where it's just raw energy and just blistering pace. And then also he can do a left-footed cross where, just get the ball to Kane and he'll figure shit out, whether he's putting it on net himself or whether he's setting up Bale. And I wonder if I've kind of incepted you, because I really feel like I've been harping this last month on Spurs missing Reggie being just as big of a miss as, missing one of their other top players. So I mean, I'm going to definitely pat myself on the back over this one, Bucks, but I'm not resting on laurels. I mean, I got more work to do. I got more analyzing to do. This is just one win for me. I get it. We're just going to chalk that one up and move on,
Shakes, you were right. I like that you went for your celebratory lap around.
Look, I manage the games. I'm a possession midfield.
Yeah, you do what you can, Shakes. And really, what else can we ask of you?
More about technique than I am flair.
Yeah, always.
For sure.
No classy watches being flashed during a live recording.
Or fancy tangies.
Oh, man. I'll tell you, I need to get myself on them juicy crunches from Noble Farms pretty soon.
Love Noble Farms. Shout out
Noble Farms.
But no, Reggie was great, but you don't think Gareth Bale or Harry Kane were the top two men of this match?
I think the catalyst for what allowed them to be so creative within that box and aggressive boils down to Reguilon, 100%.
Oh, the one final point with Reggie that I kind of just briefly touched on is I really do think Spurs can then play their center backs a little bit more forward because they just trust that he will get back. A sprint between Davis, Reggie, and Doherty and even Serge, but I'm sure Serge is second fastest. That's a lot different as far as backtracking and playing defense on the left side for Reggie. So you have him on the left side to backtrack, and then you have Dave, who's probably the second fastest player, or maybe the fastest player to Reggie on the right side as the center
Reggie's
back.
faster than Dave.
I mean, whatever it is, but those are your two fast guys. One's on the left that can always backtrack in case Toby gets caught up a little bit, because we got Toby on the left side. And then you got Dave on the right side. It allows Dave and Toby to pinch up a little bit more, I think, especially against a team like Crystal Palace. Looks a lot different when you're playing a top 4, top 6 team. But in order to really sustain pressure in this league, you just got to push your center backs forward if you really want to put the pressure on. Not every team can play that way, though.
Well, that was the difference with just the Doherty-Davis setup in the Fulham matches. We never kind of had that ability to mine the game from around midfield.
Exactly.
We were always having to build it up from the back. It was a lot nicer this match where all of a sudden we created a lot more space for both Toby and Davis to be able to find a little bit more creativity. I mean, you had a few darting runs from Toby even in the second half.
Toby was feeling it. He's like, 4-1, let's do it.
Oh, we were all feeling it. All right, so the first goal, fantastic. I mean, what hustle from Lucas Moura. I would be a terrible fan if I didn't just recognize the heart, the hustle, the passion for Spurs that Lucas.
God, he loves Spurs.
He continues to bring it. And that little hustle play on the high press, I mean, that made the world of difference. And you let a ball like that to Kane with nobody marking him, and you don't mark Bale on the other side of the box, that's what's going to happen to you. And the creator, Kane, the fucking creator, man. There's no better player in world football right now, in my opinion. This guy I think he's created, I want to say like 26 goals in the Prem.
I don't know. Don't come to stats with me. I don't know.
It's
something
incredible.
big.
I mean, 16 goals scored, and I want to say he has 10 assists. And this guy,
it's like he's been a part of 26 goals.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, it might be more. Like, if you gave me that number, I'd take the over.
Shake. So you have like 6 other pods to go to for stats, but in my heart, it feels like 26 creatives.
I like that. I'll just roll with that number. He can do it every which way, Bucks. He's making a left-footed cross to Bale, setting him up. After just darting, he gets the ball. It's like looks up, one touch to put it like further in front of him so that he can get a little bit distance between him and the center back, and then cross it, and then do that right in front of the goalkeeper. Whereas like the goal where he sets up Bale on the second, it's like him using his head to like go across from a Reggie cross. Like and then how many times is he getting the ball closer to midfield and setting up Son on a run? That's where you're right. I mean, he can do it every which way, and that's what's impressive. It's not like a one-trick pony or even two, like where it's like, oh, I know Kane's got good at this right-footed cross here, or like look out for Kane to head it across the way. He can just look up, and he's probably second to Ndombele as far as creativity goes on Spurs.
He doesn't just see the game; he feels it. That's the big difference. It's easy to see it, but usually if you just see it, it's too late in a game as quick as a Premier League match. If you feel it and you're feeling the premonitions, those really, really visceral premonitions, my man, and you feel it, you got yourselves a Harry Kane. And when you combine that with the powers of Gareth Bale, you got a Harith Kale. And a Harith Kale sounds to me like the most terrifying creature of all time. And we have it. And he's Spurs.
What was that South Park creature? I'm talking about, like the made up
Man,
like,
bear,
monster.
pig.
Yeah, there's man, bear, pig, but there's also one like Scuttle something. I can't remember, but
Cthulhu?
No, it was another one. I guess there's been a lot. There's a lot of South Park episodes out there, but yeah, just one of the most fearsome.
I'll go with man,
imagination, bear, creative. Yeah, man, bear, pig's probably great from Imagination Land.
It's a good parallel for Harry Kane and Gareth Bale.
Man, bear, pig.
Oh shit! Look at this. Wolfgang always coming through clutch with the stats. We appreciate it. 16
so 29,
goals, 13 assists. I mean, my God.
So if the front three are man, bear, pig, who's the man, who's the bear, who's the pig, Bucks?
The man is Gareth Bale. The bear is Harry Kane. And the pig is Heung-min Son.
Why?
Pigs have to have a short memory, right? Pigs love rolling around, getting dirty, doing the dirty work. And in my opinion, we're at that point right now where things could change a little bit and he could become the man. Maybe Kane drops back to pig status. Pig isn't a bad thing, by the way.
No, it's
Pigs,
not.
very intelligent creatures, the pigs.
Yeah, I could argue maybe even Lucas, if you're doing the man bear pig with Harry Kane, Gareth Bale, and Lucas, but then I don't want to leave Sonny out.
No,
even though I saw the gifs and the memes of Harry Kane hanging like checking out Gareth Bale while he's like walking hand in hand with Sonny, which was a pretty funny meme, but
pretty good meme.
Yep, that was pretty good. But it just feels like right now all four of them are just clicking.
The whole thing is looking good. We have a great listener question about Lucas, so I don't want to dive too deep.
Okay.
How I feel about him and how I feel like that interacts with Kane's game.
So because you're Team Reggie, second on the bandwagon to Shakes, of course, you probably prefer the second goal where it was the Reggie cross to the Kane header to then the Bale header, or did you like the third goal, which was Kane just posterizing it, like just postage stamp on the left side?
Goals 2, 3, and 4 all had tremendous quick passing build up, finding men in space, those men putting great balls in the box, and then going from there.
The Tottenham Hotspur Twitter feed had like this close up video, like following the passing leading to the third goal, and it was pretty fucking sweet. It was just like balls just getting passed everywhere, like darting from one guy to the other. Just, everyone touches it. Like Sonny touches it, Bale, Doherty, Kane. There was a couple more before that. And it's just stamped upper left 90.
I mean, the third goal, the Harry Kane wonder goal, it's
almost like he's setting everybody up and he's just like, hey, just, if you're wondering like, oh, Bale scores now. No, I still score.
Not just that he still scores. That was the most nonchalant approach to that ball from Doherty that I think I've ever seen. The fact that it went off Riedeveld's, it went off his belly, basically, like on his shirt. The angle wasn't there for those that don't have the feel, Shakes. I mean, Harry Kane at this point is turning into like a goddamn samurai out there. Like he understands the power of the blade, and that blade is the right boot. And what a build up, first off. I did love the second goal, though.
Yeah, I knew you did.
Reggie with a beautiful cross, Kane setting it up into the middle. What have we missed all year on that secondary? So we have a cross. We do get a ball aerial on the return because we just kind of missed our mark there. We didn't have the right angle at the net. How many times we've not seen a guy go as marauding as Gareth Bale did for that ball, basically bodied out his man and put a whopper on that ball to put it in the back of the net. We've been missing that aggression, the tenacity in the box, the feel for their position within the box, timing. I mean, it all needs to come together. I understand there's a myriad of reasons why we don't score a lot of those goals or why you don't see a lot of those goals throughout the Prem. But we've had opportunities like that where the ball just finds either a defender's foot or the keeper and, great build up dead. Bale's kind of provided us with this outlet that we just haven't seen the likes of. And I think as he starts feeling that swag again and he starts feeling like, man, I am 23 again. I could conquer North London. I can conquer all of the Prem. I think he's feeling that now, and we're seeing the results of it. It's only a benefit to Spurs. Third goal, though. I think it's not my favorite Kane goal. Favorite's a bad word. I think I was left with my jaw on the floor for that goal more than others. It was shielded off. He had to bend the hell out of that ball with tremendous pace, tremendous drop on it. I don't think we're going to see a better goal out of Kane.
Yeah, I ran around doing circles around my pool. I was watching it in the outside TV, and which is starting to break bucks. I got to get a bigger TV now, so it's kind of a big win for me. The TV's on the fritz.
Yeah.
Now I can go bigger.
Shake's family celebrates television's breaking. The rest of us mourn.
Dude, TVs these days are like $100 for like a 50-incher.
I know.
They're like old laptops at this point.
I've been out of the market now for knock on wood, 6
You
years.
still have? Do you have the tube TV, or do you actually got a flat screen?
It's like a
Can't
hybrid.
Hybrid.
Yeah.
Gets a lot of heat.
Oh yeah.
Ton of heat.
Yeah. I can't keep plants around that thing.
No, but it was just one of those oh shit moments where I just like ran around in circles. Once
It was unexpected.
it was clear.
First off, Matt Doherty. We have a question about Matt Doherty. He put in a great second half.
We have questions about everything. Can we just go into some questions? Like
Yeah,
you keep teasing these questions. I got a question about Lucas. I got a question about Reggie. I got a question about Doherty. Let's go.
All right,
Let's get some fucking questions out there. All the goals were great. Spurs kicked their ass. You were worried at halftime. Let's talk about that. And I said 3-1 Spurs, and I was off by 1.
I'm always terrified. You know that.
I know. Dead. DED. That's all you text me over and over. And then you text me undead.
Undead. UNDED. Which just looks like unded. Now that I look at it right now.
I just finished my Glenn Levitt 15.
Good for you, Shakes.
Real pompous episode today.
Yeah, you're feeling yourself.
Sorry, everybody.
I was on special.
Yeah, I go back to my Modelo's.
All right, men of the match. Before we get into that, I have Sergio Reguilon as my 1, Bale is my 2, Kane is my 3.
So reverse it. Kane is my 1, Bale is my 2, Reggie is my 3. As far as a couple other takeaways, I want Højbjerg to get a rest. Really, it's like, it's like you're watching Winks come out for Sissoko, and I'm thinking like, can't we just play Winks the entire match and then also take out either Sonny or Højbjerg? Both of them played well. I thought Winks actually had a really good game coming in for Ndombele. It's not like he's usurped Ndombele at all, but like it's nice to have him in this type of rotation, Bucks. So maybe that's also Spurs playing a 4-2-3-1 with Reggie out there. You can see Winks actually have a little bit more of a footprint on a match like this. And then Sonny, of course, plays all 90 minutes again. Meanwhile, it's like Steve's on the bench, Deli's on the bench. So that's where it's a bummer. You wish you almost get 5 subs sometimes when it's this type of game, but it's what it is.
I do wish we had 5 subs for
this game specifically, but yeah, no, that'd be too advantageous.
Honorable mention, Matt Doherty, Højbjerg.
Honestly, Doherty had a very good game. And it's just not the same as Reggie. If people watch, they know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like Reggie, when he's got the ball, it's like electric. He's running back and forth. It is far more pace. It just seems far more threatening. The defense far more cares. Doherty, though, with that said, like is a professional soccer player. So today he didn't have any defensive lapses. I take that back, Bucks. I thought in the first goal, the way positioning wise, he let that cross happen. And I don't know if Serge lets that happen. Maybe he does, but I just thought Doherty was like the way he ran in like that little circle there. That wasn't the greatest, but when he's forward up the pitch and doesn't have to worry about the defense, he makes smart decisions with the ball. Like he's not the guy turning the ball over. With that said, he's not making the world-beating run. And really from him, I thought I'd see more crossing this year, but I haven't. So he's better at kind of looking back and pulling it back like he did to Kane or he did to Bale on another attempt. But, if Jose can trust him and he can fit well with this team, that's good for Spurs if Serge is going to be hurt for an extended period of time. Because I thought he was supposed to come back or at least be on the substitution list, and he wasn't. So hopefully he didn't suffer a setback.
It's possible, but I also think we're going to see a lot of Serge these next 2 matches.
You might be right.
So maybe we're just kind of like building that rest period for him. Doherty,
I'm sorry, though. Doherty, he's above your boy Tanganga. That's just what it is.
It's fine. Totally fine with me, man. Look, there's something going on with Tanganga. I think it's injury related.
He'll be back. He'll be okay.
He'll be back. When the sack is back, we're in good business. All right, let's get on to listener questions here.
All right.
Zach Angelos. Kane, Bale, Lucas, and Sonny, the best attacking option that we have, ? Or some version of Deli or Steve in the mix?
Right now, I agree. It's Kane, Bale, Lucas, Sonny. Could Steve play a similar role to Lucas? I think he could. And, there's the talk, he's younger and faster. I get that part. But I think with Lucas, he just seems to know when to pick the pot. Like the way he pressed on 2 of those goals, specifically the first goal. It's like I don't know if anyone else makes that type of play or is that tenacious on the ball. Like with all due respect to Steve and Deli, maybe Steve could be at times, or it just doesn't feel like his game. Steve's game is to like blister on the right side or left side, if Sonny's on the other side, but usually the right side. So I just think right now if that's the setup you're going to play where there's a little bit of pressing going on by the top 4, it's Lucas over Steve.
For me, I agree with you. I think it's Kale, Bane, Lucas, and Sonny.
Yeah.
It just feels like they're having so much fun together.
Lucas just does the dirty works. Maybe he is the pig and man bear pig.
He might be, but then what's Sonny?
But then what's Steely Vin? Because we were talking about him doing dirty work. We got to really go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, we do.
On some of these
we need
nicknames.
to have a summit. We need a summit.
Well, Jose keeps changing up the style of play, right? That's not on us. We were not playing this way 2 weeks ago. We were playing 4-3-3s and shit, and not even starting Lucas. Now, and this goes back to him probably trusting Hoiberg plus somebody and Domblay or Winks, and then you got Reggie on the left side as a fullback. Now he's like, shit, I might as well play that fourth player that's more of an attacking-minded midfielder, and here comes Lucas Moura, just fucking, really, he's the pocket rat, not Winks. But anyway, we got to workshop a lot of nicknames.
So I got Lucas definitely over Steve at this point. I have Lucas over Deli. I think Lucas sets up brilliantly for the way that Kane, if you look at Kane's heat map from this past match, it's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Kane is either right in the center of the box or he's straddling the midfield line. He is at midfield. He's making things happen. He's seeing everything in front of him. And he has those 3 runners, not so much a runner in Bale he will make the runs, but I'm talking about those darting runs that you'll see more the likes of Lucas and Sonny making, and then just picking Bale out, who's also seeing those runs occur, gets the defense off center. And that's what I think. It's just one of those things where it's a recipe for success, the way that Bale has found this all-world ability to pick a pass that that's what makes him, in my opinion, one of the best players in world football. Is he's turned into not only such a threat in the box and a striker, but he's morphed his game now into just being a number 10 that's also pivoting into a 9 role when, you have a situation where he does that. It really looks – it just looks damn good when Lucas is the catalyst in the center that allows that drop back to occur, and he just easily transitioned to being the man in the middle of that front line. And when you see that happening with the likes of Bale and Son, it just, for me, we need to continue rolling that ball down the hill because it's only going to accumulate, more mass as it rolls down. It's like a sticky ball or a sticky rock, and it's just going to get huge. We could topple cities with this shit. Most likely Zagreb next.
That's the next city to fall.
Could be. We don't know that.
It's interesting because it's think of it with Deli playing as the 10. It's you had Eriksson out there back in the day, and it's he was more of a midfielder type presence, someone that's looking more to pass or play deeper. Whereas here it's Lucas doesn't even play a true 10. He's just, I guess, you almost call it a 4-3-3 with Lucas up top and just being the menace that just goes and tries to win the ball back. And he's relishing that. He's not some false 9. He's not some... I don't know. It's you don't think of him as really the playmaker. You see him as where he starts all the shit. He's the one that shows up, gets the ball, wins it back, and then releases the other guys that really then do it. I mean, Lucas can still finish. Don't get me wrong. He's had some excellent finishes the last couple games too, and he can make a pass and he can make a darting run. But what he's being asked to do right now, it's he's in the 10 role, but he's in it as a pressing midfielder. That just his goal is just to be a pest, just flat out, just wreak havoc. Yeah,
I love to see it.
Shitstorm Lucas.
So we got Ian Ferguson here with 2 questions. Is Champions League very much in the picture if Sonny, Kane, and Bale can stay healthy?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I still think Bale Was not slow played by Jose.
Yes, he was. Perfect.
I read a stat, Bucks. It was like, I can't remember. It was 20 plus matches he's played or been able. He's been dressed. And he only started 4 of them. It's like, we could have done this earlier.
But maybe he's the best on the bench at being like a great teammate and cheerleader.
Well, I think it's also the midfield situation. Like Jose just refused to play a 4-2-3-1. So maybe it's like he needed Ndombele to get fit first. I don't know. It just seems like we could have had this earlier. Because now that he's got feel, like you said, like he wasn't making like cross-field passes when he first got out there.
No.
Like that wasn't happening. So,
I think it's a lot just getting reps with the boys out there.
Yeah. It's just continuity, baby.
You see the way he's bonding with Kane, Bale, or Kane.
Oh, they all love each other.
Lucas.
And then him and Reggie go back from the Real days. I like how we got the 2 best players on Real on Spurs right now.
He looks for Sergio all the time. All the time. He switched play like 5 or 6 times on yesterday. And goddamn, it's something we haven't seen. We alluded to that in our last show, is that's been a nice little epiphany for Spurs, is having that from one wing to the other, changing play and actually targeting that man, finding him and giving him some room to work with it. That's working well. That's working damn well, Shakes.
But it's the summer of this year, and word comes out Reggie has made his transfer permanent. What's our level of drunkenness that night?
Like Bale on a permanent?
No. Reggie.
Reggie is on a permanent.
No, he could still go back.
No.
But let's just say he clears it, and he's like, all right, I'm for sure Spurs, I'm staying.
Well, technically he's for sure Spurs.
But I thought there was a buyback.
There is a buyback, but he has to opt into it.
Right. So if he says, I don't want to opt in.
I mean, 8 out of 10 drunk.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm 9+.
I'm 8 out of 10.
I'm buying at least 3 kits.
We got to have them. And I think that's like the first bit of business that needs to be done, is increase his wage structure, do whatever you have to do to say, hey, we want you here. We want to win trophies. I think the easiest way to do that is to go and win trophies this season. You know, we still got 2 in play. Got the Bang Energy final, which should be a great time. And I think that Europa, it really stands out to me as a possibility. So if we kind of solidify, I think Champions League might be a big draw for him. So if we don't make that, then I think there's a little conversation to be had with Real Madrid.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm being called out on the facts part. I thought the way it worked is, yes, Real could take him back if they wanted to, but then it was still his decision if they did ask to take him back. But I'm not sure
they would.
I mean, yeah, maybe they just go to the next one. I don't know. But right now it's like Marcelo over there or something.
No, Mendy's.
Oh, Mendy's there too. Yeah. I don't know. I'd rather have Reggie.
Reggie is Spurs. I'm not going to – this is a hypothetical I want to
I'm just getting worried, Bucks. I worry about these things. Once we have a nice thing, I worry.
Let's get Bale on a permanent. I want Bale here until he is decrepit.
You want him just old man Bale?
I want old man Bale. I want Bale until he's 36. Just keep rolling him out there. Even if it's in the Legends games.
He becomes coach.
Like, I don't think he's a player's coach, to be honest with you, based on whatever. I think he'd rather be golfing than coaching, to be quite honest with you.
Who would you rather play golf with, Kane or Bale?
Bale.
Really? I'd rather play with Kane.
No, I'm playing with
Harry Kane.
I'm going to Bale's private course in Wales.
No, stop it.
What do you mean?
I can't believe you're saying Bale over Kane play golf with.
Listen,
this is Harry Kane.
Harry seems like a nice enough fella. And I respect the hell out of Harry Kane. Love him to death. And one of our own. It's my guy. But, man, I would have a much better time golfing with Bale. I feel like Bale and I, with our cocky attitudes together, we would be just a great combination of ridiculous jokes on one another on the course, just really just dogging the shit out of, I mean, mostly him dogging me, of course, but like, I feel like there'd be a lot of ball busting going on. And with Kane, I'm not sure, because Kane's always had this like wholesome image. And Bale
Kane would just be talking about our kids together.
That's the thing.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Your watches, the latest vehicle you purchased, different homes. I think Bale and I would just get to straight up ball busting.
All right, that's fine. I'm going Harry Kane.
I'm going with Gareth Bale. It's a good
Okay.
question there, Shakes. Nice job.
Thank you.
So,
Maybe-
yes, I think Champions League is well within the picture. Fourth is a major possibility for Spurs, depending on how the cards fall. Maybe even third. I mean, depending on a couple of different factors. West Ham winning today, obviously not a great thing for us, but we'll see. I mean, it's a tough run-in for all teams at this stage in the season. Those teams that are playing less matches, those are the ones I really do look out for quite a bit. And West Ham not being involved, but still sticking around at the top end of the table here is a bit of a concern, but fourth is definitely in play. And then you win eight games, Shakes, 7 games. You're in the Europa League. You win it, you go to the Champions League, and you and I are probably partying pretty hard.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. Second question. What should Levy do? No, this is the second question from Ian Ferguson, sir.
Okay. Got it. Sorry.
Third overall. You're right. Semantic, Shakes. Being real pompous today.
No, I just people are calling me out on Reggie's buyout situation or transfer back. I feel like I want to really clarify things.
Listen, Waltinho does what he wants. It's one of my guys.
Love him.
All right. So, also, what should Levy do to fix the problems we always seem to have with our back four?
What does he need to do?
Yes. Like, what is the action? Who's the player that we need to bring in? Do we need to move anybody out, etc.?
I think it's just you have Toby, you have Dave, and then you make sure Reggie's on the left side, and then that's it. You go from there. Like I think Toby.
This is Levy. I'm talking about Levy in the summer.
Oh. I took it like hard J Jose. I'm sorry. The fullback situation is fine on the left side, right? We got Reggie going on, hopefully in the future. So Toby's under contract, I want to say, Bucks, for another couple of years because he just resigned. So I don't know if you think you can get Toby 30 games or so, in all competitions. So you just need some more depth. Really, this is like the make or break year for Sanchez. Like if he's just going to keep getting trotted out there with Toby and he does well, then maybe Sanchez does stay. Maybe you see Rodon get more developed. And it's really like you are looking for one more center back, and that's about it. I don't know what's happening to the Eric Dyer project. I just think that's been kind of shelved. Really pulled the plug on that project.
Still under contract, though.
Yeah, he is. And he could be a utility player. He can play. He might – I have him starting this midweek game. But maybe the center back situation isn't as bad as we think. With that said, watch Spurs leak some goals with Toby and Dave, and then we are looking for like a bigger premier center back. But the weird thing with center backs, Bucks, is it feels like there's like this whole host of guys between like the 10 and 30 million range, right? That if they play well together with the right pairing, they can look pretty good. But if you want to get like Diaz or Van Dijk or whatever, you're dropping like money that Spurs isn't dropping. So to me, it's more about maybe building the depth and like trying to figure out the right pairing than maybe it is than just saying, oh, Spurs just go out and get Ruben Diaz, just drop 90 million, like it just doesn't work that way.
No.
Right. So it's just got to be a depth game. And then at right back, they need to figure out a long-term solution. And if Reggie's around for like, the 25, 30 million range, then maybe there's someone out there that can be in like the 20 million range too for Spurs. So I need to brush up on what's out there because I think sometimes it's like, if you go like the Sessegnon route, it's like too young. I know he's a left back on that side, but like I'm just saying, if you go like too young, then it might not be ready, to throw out there at the beginning of the season for next year. But maybe there's like that 20, like similar to Reggie's age, like a 23 to 25-year-old that Spurs need to target that way. Because again, like if you can get more dynamic outside on the wings, I just feel like that changes so much more middle of the park, going forward when you attack, and then also having like the confidence to push up your defense because you got speed out on the flanks to help cover your ass.
See, I think that at this stage, center back is the biggest concern. It's the biggest.
So you think that's bigger than the right back situation?
Yeah, because I'm fine with Serge. I'm fine with Tanganga when he's healthy. Either one of those players, totally okay with moving forward. You have the youth there in Tanganga. You also have Serge, who has played a solid run of matches despite this injury going on. So that's huge. Center back, though, you say we can't get a guy like Van Dijk. We can't get Ruben Diaz. We can't spend 60, 70, 80 odd million. That's completely factual. Waltinho, I hear you. Fact shakes. That's factual. But here's a guy that we can get. And I want to give a shout out to a group chat on WhatsApp I was recently invited to from one of our listeners. And it's fantastic. Just great talk. We were watching the Fulham match. Everything going on back and forth. And that Anderson kid, Joachim Anderson, Danish Viking, 23 years old. And he's a hell of a player, man. He's stonewalled back there. The guy played a hell of a match against Liverpool. He's been just the steady Eddie of their defense from the center back position. Right now, he is valued at 12.5 mil. Due to the COVID circumstances that are going on. I'm telling you, man, or he's 24 now. My apologies. Danish guy, 6'3". He's on loan at Fulham from Lyon, who we got Tanguy and Domblé for record prices, so I think we might have a nice little inroads there to be able to possibly get a discount on a guy that they're clearly willing to throw outside.
We at least know each other. Yeah.
We know each other. Well, that could serve us, and it could also go against us with Daniel Levy. But let's say it's a 20 million price tag on him in high point 24, 25. This is a guy who's had a steady run here at Fulham. He's been basically one of the lockdown pieces for that Fulham defense, who has really strung together a nice run of form here in the Prem. I like that option quite a bit. Big guy. Played a crucial role in that win against Liverpool. Frustrates the hell out of opposing teams. He's a good player. He uses his body well. He's also smart positionally. I like it. I think that's the type of player we need to target. Premier League experience, under 30 million.
So do we send Højbjerg now, like for all national team events, start recruiting them?
Yes, 100%.
Do something like that? Yeah. I like that too, Bucks. It's just it kind of to me bundles into like the Rodon signing. Like it's just like you're gonna get players like in this 10 to 20 or 25 million range, and either you're looking to play the right matchup or maybe you just get lucky and one's just excellent and that's the way it is. But I mean, to me, he's probably very similar to a lot of these, center backs that are in that range as far as like what his gameplay is. I mean, it's great he's getting EPL experience, and Fulham is pretty buttoned up in the back. So at least right now. So maybe that is a possibility. I like the age factor. I like the 25 range. Like I just talked about, like if we did right back, in that specific age where it's like you get a couple years run, and really at center back, you can play a lot longer. Like we're seeing with Toby and Jan last year, or year before that. So I like that as an option, especially if Fulham goes down, but I don't think they're going down now, Bucks. So if they stay up, maybe they want to try to make this thing permanent with Leon.
No, let's get Anderson. Mr. Anderson.
So you like him over who's the guy on Inter?
Skriniar?
Yeah, Skriniar.
He's going to be a lot cheaper. And
yeah,
he's got
for sure.
Experience, so.
But that's where it gets to that conversation too. Maybe go the cheaper route, because like really, how much better do you think Skriniar is playing in Serie A, than what you get out of Anderson? And maybe Anderson's a little more coachable, playing with the right players, and he is like a 30 million player.
Well, you also have Højbjerg on his ass.
Yeah, tell him if you want to be a Viking, this is what you got to do.
Well, I think they're like mutual Vikings, but I think you fuse that together. You got like an ultra Viking.
He doesn't have a lot of caps for the national team. We'll have to keep an eye on him for Europa. Under 100 days for Europa, Bucks.
You mean Euro?
Did I say Europe? Yeah, sorry.
We're in Europa mode. We're just
we're in Europa mode,
forward.
but yes, Euro 2021.
All right,
now.
we got 4 more questions here. So
Jesus, Bucks.
Yep. We got Big White Hart Lane here. Chaps, we know the story of the game will be Kane and Bale, deservedly so. Let's turn our attention to Doherty. I've been critical of him, but he turned a much better performance in the second half. It could be about confidence. What did you make of him, and can he push on now?
He did. I thought he played well too. I agree with Big White Hart Lane. I just don't know if what he's done is not better than peak Surge in like November. So if you can get like Surge back in that type of form where it's like Surge playing against Man U, in the first half of the season, I think Doherty can still be pretty good as far as pushing Surge, but he wouldn't be the number one to Surge. With that said, though, Doherty has played much better the last 2 matches than, like a month ago. It was like I didn't think he could really even field like into the rotation, let alone the starting 11.
I was impressed with that second half. He had a few. He does that drop back cross a little more than he does like an attacking cross.
I know. We've talked, yeah,
but he did well with it, and he does seem to link up with Bale really well. So
that's a Shakes line. That's a
Shakes
line from that you called me out on like 2 weeks ago.
They're kind of pals, man.
I remember this shit, Bucks.
They're getting beers.
Yeah, I bet they are hugging during COVID. Hope they can give it to each other.
No,
God damn.
No hugs. We were too close in that picture we took.
No, we were fine.
I could have hugged you. How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Yeah, so do I, man.
We had a great time at the golf course.
I was taking a risk. We'll get to the golf. We have a question.
Oh, we do? Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm with – I think Doherty, the more consistently that he can play, it'll be better off for him. However, he is my second choice to Surge. And honestly, with the link up with Bale, when we're on that attacking type of side and we're really trying to gun for the goals, I like Doherty there. So, yeah, no. Hats off to Doherty. I thought it was a great.
Keep playing that way. Spurs are going to do well, man.
Yep.
Like that's what we need. Serviceable right back.
We have some great writers that write these questions in, and I feel so good reading them that I have to read the whole paragraph.
Do it.
From my guy Brian Lozen, long time, always been with us. Bale rising from the ashes like a phoenix. Consistency with the backline pairing and continued peak performance from Kane have all been a huge part of Spurs' resurgence. However, is Lucas living wild and free, playing the 10, possibly the biggest spark for this side right now?
Over the last couple of matches, it seems that way, but it's tough to just think that's the way it's going to be the rest of the way out. I mean, when Spurs just got 9 points, but against teams that they should have beaten, right? They were favored against at the Parlor. So, I mean, are you going to watch Lucas wreak havoc against Arsenal, next weekend? I hope so.
Yeah.
I absolutely think, like we talked about earlier, that he's the better solution right now over Dele, over Steve. When Giovanni Lo Celso comes back and he's fully healthy, like, don't forget he was Spurs' best player last year. So if now you can play Højbjerg deeper with Ndombele in a 4-2-3-1, and maybe you can put Lo Celso over there instead of Lucas. Not sure exactly what it's going to look like, but I would just guess that's got to be just a more firepower lineup for the team because just Lo Celso is just better. But that's me like thinking that way out. But I don't know if I'd fuck with it, Bucks, because right now it's getting results. So I mean, I'm not saying you just switch it for the hell of it because I think that way. It's just it's tough to just like say this is it going forward always. With that said, Lucas is by far my preferred starter in a big match against Steve and Dele.
So when Lo Celso comes back, that's when the questions come back. But when you're on this run, it kind of reminds me of the Kane start. And it feels sacrilegious saying it, but it kind of feels like the Kane start against Liverpool.
Oh, don't stop. No. I was working. You were not going to say
you knew
that.
I was going to say.
Did you watch Harry Kane from, 2015 to that point in time? Like he played. It's not like you just threw him in against Son.
I've been living under a rock, whiskey boy.
It wasn't like Son, Dele, and Eriksson never played with Kane before. Like you were going to put him back in always. This is a little different because it's not like all the guys have played with Bale. Like you don't really see a Lo Celso Bale combo yet. Like so, I get how that's different.
It was still a tight match. You could have brought Kane in off the bench.
Oh my God, no! This is Harry Kane.
There's also Lucas Moura, who single-handedly, along with the help of Lurchente and his huge hog, and the hog that was promised with a huge deep ball.
And really, Lucas should have played over Dele that game.
What do you mean?
Lucas should have played. Start him over one of the other guys.
Yeah, you might be right there, but at the same time, man, Lucas deserved to run. Fine, Lucas deserved to start in that match. So I'm not taking out the hot match when we're trying to stoke a fire here that will last forever.
No,
I'm
if it ain't
sorry for
broke, don't
calling you.
fix it. I'm in on
sorry,
that.
Sorry for calling you Whiskey Boy.
It's okay. First off, it's Scotch.
Sorry, Scotch Boy.
You're welcome. No problem. You're forgiven.
I got fired up right there because you try to blame me.
Well,
I was
the whole time
saying-
you're talking, I'm like, there's no way he's going to talk about this Liverpool Champions League final and say Kane shouldn't have started. That's like the craziest fucking comment. Like, so then you went after it. And I'm fired up, as pointed out by the listeners.
Yeah, it is. It was. I felt that he should have started the match, so we'll leave it there.
Okay, I'm in agreement there.
Him out while he's hot, and yes, Brian, he's been great, but Kane and Bale also fantastic. Next question, Shakes. This is from Nathan Keller. I hear at the rate that we are currently winning, the world will be out of tangies by month's end. Is this true?
It might be. Although Florida had a very good winter. The rain season was good, and we should have a very, very profitable. I don't know if it's profitable. Yeah, no, it will be for the Tangerine folks, but it will be copious amounts of tangerines. I think it's going to be a good season. So I think it should be able to weather this storm.
It just depends. If we can just like find a windfall here of listeners that also endorse the Victory Tangerines that we're promoting all across the internet, who knows, Shakes? We could put a major dent in Big Tangerine.
Well, Bucks, I'm part of Big Tangerine. As you know, I'm into the Groves. So, that's fine. Keep eating the tangies. That's money in my pocket when you eat the tangies.
I knew this day was coming. We'd have a big.
Well, I don't know why you're not in it with us, with our buddy, Eric.
So I'm putting food on your table right now, Shakes, by eating the food and costing myself.
No, you're putting money in my kid's trust account because food's already on the table.
We'll talk about the beach house in a little bit.
You are always welcome to the beach house. You know that.
Okay.
I got pictures to show you after. It looks nice.
That is good to hear. But I have to say, knowing that I'm lining your pockets now makes me feel simple. So you know what? We're going to keep enough tangies out there just so that Shakes' pocket feels it. Does that sound good to you, Nathan? Don't go overboard. Listen, what I'm doing is I'm going slice for slice with the amount of goals that Spurs score.
No, you got to go whole tangies. You go whole tangies.
Nathan,
you buy them by the sack.
Nathan, we always buy by the sack, but we hold our sacks. Okay, let's
they go bad after a day. Buy another sack.
Shakes has enough money. Last question. This is more of a funny question here, but also informational. Jerry McNeil joining us here live. This is about Bay Hill. You and I were lucky enough to spend time together, drink a few beers, and from my account, a few too many beers at Bay Hill at the Arnold Palmer Invitational in Orlando. So Jerry asks, what was the most impressive shot you saw?
I know what you're going to say. You're going to say Bryson on 9.
Bryson on 9 smoked one. The sheer force that guy swings with, and we're standing legitimately. It's kind of cool with the COVID restrictions and limited occupancy in there. We were able to get up on the ropes just pretty much face to face. Like we were 6 feet from the other player in that group, and then Bryson hit the ball. Bryson smokes this thing, and I just let out a damn, Bryson, you really got that one. And he just looks dead at me and just goes, yeah, I did. And walked off.
And he became our favorite golfer ever since then.
He smoked that ball. It went in the rough. He got a little bit too much mustard gas on it, but God, he really, seeing that close up, there's a lot of power going into that.
I'm sure it's like watching Reggie dart back and forth. Like it's just different looking. You hear that ball like just whiz by you. You're like, wow, if he like lost that drive and just connected with me, I'm dead. Like it goes through my head, like through one side of my skull, out the other side.
I mean, he probably hit that ball like 350, 355, just smoked.
I would say mine was actually him on the 6th because he cleared the lake. DeChambeau did. Not as far as he did on Saturday and Sunday. We were there on Friday, but still, like he smoked at like 360, and that probably was the drive that made him realize, I can go over this lake in the next couple days. It was fun times, Bucks.
Yeah,
we're Bryson DeChambeau fans now.
It was a lot of fun. Second question. Favorite holes at Bay Hill as a spectator? I think that one's simple. I think it's that 6-7 transition there.
6 is cool because it's the par 5. You clear the lake. 7's the par 3. I ride for I like 8 actually too. Like if you want to go 6, 7, 8, where you have to go over the water and usually there's a grandstand like right there, like on the green. That's like almost like in the players like line of sight if they're hitting off the left side of the fairway. Also, I like 18. It's just a cool finishing hole. Despise 17. 17 needs to be like 150 yards, not 200 yards. I like it when it could be like a par 3 that's like someone could stick it to like hit a birdie to like take the lead or tie or do something dramatic in the final round. I don't like that it's like 210 yards. I hate long par 3s, Bucks. I despise long par 3s.
I like a long par 3.
It's because you're 5 wood only.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you had 5 wood only.
I know that you don't like facing a 200-yard par 3 because you're kind of in between and you got to start factoring in wind. I just pulled out that 5 wood.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, it's my 9th swing speed on my 5 wood.
Yeah, I got to register it down a little bit. Just hit the little nodes there on the old gear adjuster. I'm good to go with the 5 wood. Last question. Well, I actually, on that question, favorite hole, I like that 6 area because you're kind of elevated.
Yeah, that's cool too.
You can see both the 7th and the 6th very clearly as far as the greens are concerned from a distance. And there's also ample beer available.
Bay Hill it's weird because the course, I like the 18th, like I said, but I would rather the 9 switch.
I agree with you.
It would be super compelling if it was like, the 15th or 16th hole was that drive, like that lake par 5. Like that would have been quite dramatic, like on Sunday. If it's like, oh man, Bryson's even or tied, for the lead, and he's just gonna like go for the green, on like the 69th hole.
Well, you mentioned that you think they should be turned around. In fact, I arrived earlier than Shakes and I got turned around. Is that a Survivor hat?
No, it's a Detroit Tigers spring training hat. I got plenty more hats for you, Bucks.
Oh god damn it, Shakes. We got
2013.
We have one more question from Jerry surrounding the Bay Hill. You're pulling out hat props.
What's up with the last Bay Hill question?
Last Bay Hill question here. Concession selection. Elite, standard, subpar. Any standout items?
Standard. You can of course drink like an Arnold Palmer with vodka, like a John Daly, I guess as they would call it, but it's only 5% in a can. We did grounds passes because it's COVID. When you're in the chalet, Bucks, like I normally am, there's a lot more options to you. They actually have this really good spicy Bloody Mary that they do, and that pushes it up a notch. However, when you're just kind of out there, it's just Bud Lights, Mick Ultras.
I would say standard with an elite hot dog.
Oh, that's right. You did have a good hot dog.
I had 2 hot dogs. I'm a big two dog guy. Like if I'm going to get 1 dog, I'm definitely going back for 2.
Mm-hmm.
1 will be a raw dog. So no toppings, no condiments. The other I'll appetize like a little ketchup and usually mustard. At a course, I'll do the ketchup and the mustard. If I'm making my own like gourmet dog, it's mustard only. But I feel like you kind of take a risk. That's why you raw dog the initial one to figure out whether or not you need to apply the ketchup.
So those hot dogs were good, and I wanted it again. So actually on Sunday, I grilled dogs during Spurs, Crystal Palace. And I did onions, peppers, sauteed them up. Yeah, I put like a pickle in there too with a little sriracha, Bucks. I was getting nuts with it.
We got one last question here. This is about our personal golf games from Brian Lozen. Speaking of bombing drives, who has the better distance off the tee between you two?
Oh, this is like absolutely false, Brian.
I could see Bucky going balls to the wall.
This is driver,
and Shakes being more conservative with the long iron or wood. Shakes, I'll let you break this one down.
Brian, you have us pegged differently. I am the one that always hits driver. I'll even hit driver off the deck if I need to on a par 5. I don't think I've seen Bucks pull out the driver more than twice in my life playing with him. He's 5-wood only. If it's 3-wood. Yep, 3-wood too. Now you have the 3-wood. But I mean, I would always just say like, oh, finessing the 5-wood with Bucks. Like he'd hit like a 160-yard shot with a 5-wood. He'd also go off the tee with a 5-wood.
It's like 185 on a normal swing.
No, I mean like if it was like a 165 par 3, you're going 5-wood.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, my range on the 5-wood is like 120 to 220.
But I probably outdrive you by a good amount. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, you can throw baseball harder than me, barely.
Well, I'm not the golfer you are, Shakes, but I like to think that I have heart and I don't get down on myself. I've seen you get down on yourself too many times to count on a course.
I am a mental case out there, Bucks. Whereas your demeanor is probably what I need. Yeah, you're in Domblay wearing the blanket out there, giving blankets to everybody.
I have buddies.
Good times.
I have buddies of mine that hate, like they love playing with me, you know, because we're buddies, but they also hate it because I am really positive. Like
they're like, no, Bucks, it was a bad shot. Be fucking mad.
It's just like, no, I mean, you misconnected on the shot, but end result means, you know, you get on the green in 3 instead of 2 here, and you're set up for success, bud. Bogeys, cash, checks in the amateur status ranks. That's just the truth. Bogeys, cash, checks. So these are some great listener questions. Brian, appreciate you joining us in. We got to get to Zagreb here real quickly. I got so many notes. I can outnote you, Shakes, with your...
Definitely can. I have like my starting 11 and that's it.
All right, so here we go. Zagreb. This is massive, by the way. Final 16. It's time to make a run. We're probably going to get drawn with another English team in the round of 8. So I think this is just all about getting through, surviving, and praying that Jose pays off whoever he usually pays off in a very timely manner to make sure we get a very good draw come that round of 8. So Zagreb only conceded 1 goal in their 6 group league matches, and they did get through a tough Krasnodar team from Russia that was a dropout from the Champions League. And Krasnodar was a pain in everybody's side in that Champions League. They were a pain in Zagreb's side as well. I believe Zagreb came out of that 4-2 on aggregate, but it was 2 tight matches. Zagreb, I don't know nearly enough about the Croatian league to ever talk about it with any sort of validity or backing towards my statements on that.
Credibility,
credibility, backing, blah, blah, blah. But Zagreb, with that 1 goal in 6 group stage games, pretty tough. So I think we are definitely going to have our work cut out for us. It's kind of a shame that we have Arsenal sandwiched in between these 2 matches because no matter what, you have to prioritize Arsenal in a certain way. I think we do. I just don't really know how this 11 stacks up. So I'm curious to hear what you have on paper there.
So I really think it's a different story if Spurs didn't get 9 points out of 9 the last 3 matches, Bucks, because top 4 is absolutely still on the table. Spurs got their hated rival Arsenal next. To get 6 total points from Arsenal in this season would be, you know, pretty unbelievable for Spurs and also help them in that table hunt. So I have like a pretty, I don't want to call it second team, but definitely not at all what we saw the last 2 matches, like a more conservative lineup for Jose. It's got Davis and Tanganga as the fullbacks. It has Dyer and Dave as the center backs, Sissoko and Ndombele in the middle of the park, Lamella, Deli, Steve, and then Vin up top.
Wow.
So I went super dupe. Now, here's the thing. Here's Shakes' thought process. Let's say Spurs eke out 1-0, whatever it was. Like, Jose wants to win, shut them out. No away goals for them when you have like a 2-leg deal. And if you can get away with winning this match, play this type of game, even if it's 1-0, and then you rested Kane, Son, Bale, Højbjerg, Reggie for Arsenal basically 3 days later, I think he takes that. I don't think he feels like he's got to go up 3-1, 4-0, just some, obviously, sure, kick their ass, that'd be great. But if this is a 1-0 game for Spurs, is the way Jose looks at it. And if Spurs can pull that off, that'd be great. Also, though, a big deal here is you're allowed 5 substitutions. So unlike EPL, where it's 3, if it's 0-0 at half and Spurs look terrible, or even they're down 1-0 or something like that at halftime, well, he could literally just drop of a hat, put in Kane, Son, all these other guys if they want to. So that's my rationale with this lineup. I don't know if Jose gets that ballsy, because the history that he has is he just plays his players into the ground, right? I mean, Sonny doesn't seem like he just gets any time off. He's going to play every minute.
He's got to get this game off.
Yeah, I don't know how Sonny starts again. And Højbjerg probably just starts. But when I saw Sissoko come in later and thought, well, he's rested, and then Ndombele's rested, and those two can play together, like maybe we just try to get away with that. Let's just do it.
So Jose stated that Højbjerg will be on the bench next to Jose for this match.
I like that you're going hard J still. Hard J.
I'm fully back on Jose, man. I never left. I was wavering. I was caught in the in-between. Just a little bit. But now I'm back. And I feel damn good being back, by the way. So I have a very similar lineup. The only difference I have, so I have Davis, Dyer, Sanchez, and I have Serge Aurier. I think he starts at right back.
Mm-hmm.
I have Ndombele, Sissoko, Steve, Dele, Lamela, and then I have Kane. I think Kane starts. I hope that we can nick in 2 early goals, and then we pull Kane for Vin in the second half. Because I think the key here is getting two goals. We're at home. A shutout is crucial in this match, but you want to get that extended lead. And then obviously if you can play that draw game in the second game, or just, maybe even lose a match with a depleted lineup, that's fine considering you get 2 goals in this match. The defense concerns me with the Davis and the Dyer, but Dyer and Sanchez, they have not been our strongest pairing, but it seems like Toby will need a break prior to the North London derby. He will have his hands full.
Yeah, I can't see Toby starting. Like that's not happening. And I'm going through it.
Counterintuitive to what we've been promoting on this show, though. Are we liars, Shakes?
Why are we liars?
It's just because we want the continuity, and now we're like, maybe we don't.
Well, I think we're getting continuity in the EPL. It's just Toby's getting up there, Bucks. He's a wise old man. So to just keep playing him all these minutes, the last thing you want to do is get him hurt right before the Arsenal match. And I mean, it looks like from what I've watched, Zagreb's going to play pretty defensive ball. I don't know. Like I can't see this game being open. I just really can't. It's the first leg of a European game, and if Spurs literally can just take out a 1-0 game here, it sets up everything. I get it. It creates a little bit larger margin for error and everything like that, but it's just you have Arsenal on deck, and you just got to worry more about that. It's almost like Jose would probably go to Kane and be like, Kane, would you rather start or come in the 60th? Assuming, how do you feel about warm up and how this game goes into it with the flow of it? Like, how do you want to deal with this? And if Kane says, I want to start and then hopefully be done by 60th minute, fine, do it. But there's also that world where maybe Vin just starts and Spurs get up 1-0 or, knocking on wood, something more. And you're just like, wow, I don't even have to get Kane out there. Even if the game finished 2-1 or something like that, do you really put Kane in to try to get that third goal? No. So maybe Jose tries to steal one because Spurs have been playing better. That's just fact of the matter. With that said, though, with my lineup, when Jose was doing those Europa change-ups where it was 9 changes between that and the EPL match, they did not have continuity. They did not play well. So that's in the back of my mind too, Bucks, is just it's 0-0 or Spurs are behind at half, and we're just like, what the hell's going on? This team's doing nothing because there's like 7 changes out there from, what they played against Palace.
I think the glimmer of hope there, though, with your lineup is that Vin has produced in the Europa.
He has. He absolutely has.
So I think the line of thinking there is, let's see what we got with Vin. Let's see. I mean, Steve, Deli, and Lamella, I mean, that is just a questionable front line considering the output that we've had from this man-bear pig line that we've been throwing out at him. It's going to be difficult no matter what. This team, trust me, this is a massive match for Zagreb. Massive set for them in terms of a 2-game stretch here. So I'm nervous about it, but I have Spurs advancing overall, and I have Spurs winning this first match 2-0. I have Kane scoring, and Steve gets on the board for the first time this year. Let's go.
I want a Steve goal. That'd be amazing. I have Deli scoring, and I have Vin scoring. And Spurs win 2-1.
2-1 is fine. I think if you get
I'll take 2-1. I hate that one goal on the away side, but just I'm looking at Davis, Dyer, Dave, Tanganga, and it's just tough, man. Like, shit can happen.
I'm with you. So before we sign off, folks, thank you all for joining us on YouTube. If you could, find our YouTube channel, search Talking Tottenham Pod, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, all that good stuff. You can follow us on Twitter at TTPodCoys. We'll be very interactive on there as always. Thank you all so much for joining us. But 2 quick notes before we depart here, Shakes. Lucas pulling the L in the camera at the end of the last match.
Loved it.
Failed attack. Fantastic. And then did you see the video of him going, Coys, come on, you Spurs?
Loved it. Yes, and I saw it because I think you retweeted it.
I did. So,
Okay.
Sir.
So, like, my Twitter handle actually blew up because
sign the people off like Lucas. So, Shakes, sign the people off.
Coys. Come on, you Spurs.
Coys, get it done. Beat Zagreb.